The thing that caught my eye more than anything, I think, was the hiring of the referee to put on an advisory role, and then backing it up with the statistics that said that the Bills are the worst challenge team in the NFL by a long way.
Okay, so here's the thing. Sean McDermott had been the worst challenge coach in NFL history. That was until last season when a coach in his division took that spot over. Do you know who it is?
Bill Belichick?
Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel has only won 3 challenges in 2
years. I like him.
Oh yeah, he's a guru. Now look. One of the biggest faults for McDermott in game, he's a terrible challenge person, right? Challenge coach. So I like the idea of thinking outside the box. The issue with this for me is, you guys know, you'll watch these ESPN, Fox, CBS presentations, and they'll bring in the Dean Blandinos or whoever it is, and they'll go, what do you think? And this former referee, will give you a detailed description of why what he's seeing is going to get overturned, and then they'll go to the referee, and they're wrong half the time too. Statistically, NFL coaches, the majority of them are just below 50%. So I don't know if bringing in the referee, granted, anything over 30%, which McDermott is at, is better than what we got here.
I like philosophically that they're willing to admit we have an issue here that we're trying to fix.
But see, this is why I think this is the biggest acquisition this organization has made during this offseason, because not only do you realize that you're not very good at this, I would beg to ask, do other NFL teams do this?
So from what we understand, there was one more. The Raiders did this a couple of years ago with Gruden, but you bring up a great point. The fact that they realize this is a weakness. One of McDermott's biggest knocks off the field is he's kind of a control freak. There was a story by writer Tyler Dunn last season, right before the Bills went on their, winning streak, that there were a bunch of people that didn't like the way he operated the team. My question here with this hiring, is this McDermott saying, I need help and I want help in the booth? Or is this someone from above McDermott saying, we're putting this on you? Because if it's the second one, I don't know how effective this is.
Now, does that put more pressure on McDermott to win more this year than he did last year or previous years?
I mean, if I'm as a guy who loves to skirt responsibility, if it stops working, like if I'm not winning the same amount of challenges, I just point to that. But he told me to do it.
Having a coordinator is going to help.
I mean, listen, this is a lot of pressure for this upcoming season, which makes the offseason acquisitions really important. And do you have your new number one now?
Wait a minute. Here's what I can't get, right? Because
here we go.
No. Some weeks, this team is far less talented. We're pie in the sky. So that would mean there's less pressure, right? And now all of a sudden this week, there's a ton of pressure. If we don't do it, there's pressure. Is there more pressure or less pressure? Because I can't figure out week to week with you guys.
I say every week it's more pressure. So I've never said it's
so then how
pressure.
Is there less talent if there's more pressure?
You're not talking Valdes-Scantling. It's the number one.
Listen, this is a big wide receiver for them, and you need wide receiver help, because you told me the last couple of weeks you don't have a number one, and is he your number one?
If he's available in May, he better not be.
He's not a number one. But look, he is another kind of guy. Look, again, Josh Allen hasn't had that deep threat wide receiver. That's what he's known for. He's not going to be a volume guy, but if you use him the right way, he can be an impact guy. Not a number one impact guy, but an impact guy.
On a team that's won a couple of Super Bowls, which you'd love to have in that locker room.
Maybe. I mean, he won a couple of Super Bowls, but
maybe
he had 300 yards catching and 1 touchdown in the regular season last year. I mean,
Yeah. Strength in numbers, maybe?
Sure.
What's the one thing, if one of these guys, Claypool or him or Scantling, pops, you look great.
If the NFL allows you to carry 11 receivers, I think the Bills are going to be totally fine.
Most dangerous word, if. That's a really, really scary word to put into something.
Well, and they get to sort this out in training camp, and that's what the preseason games are going to be for. They're going to, actually, for the Bills, they're going to mean something, I think, this year.
Now, that means more Josh Allen actually playing in the preseason, and nobody wants to see that. Come on.
Trubisky.
And everything was all good, I guess.